year, new me. But is starting anew better than building off the past? With me to discuss not so deep thoughts are...
Oh, it's me. Wait, I thought someone else was going to say first. You were laughing then. It's me, Joe. I'm here to talk about this stuff as well.
Hello, it's me, Tim. I'm here.
Is it me next?
If you can handle it.
It's just you left me.
It's Fat Benny B. Ben.
Oh, hey, and I'm your host, never-ending Luke Jarbers, and you're listening to Pod Players Podcast. A little intro music, maybe.
I like that. I like the one you used last time. That was good.
I don't remember what that was. Did any of you ever, when going to school, a new school or college, did you ever reinvent yourself?
I felt like I reinvented myself relatively well when I went to college from school. In fact, I wore glasses on the first day of college, but then I never wore them again. That was my reinventness.
Failed.
Did it not catch on?
No, I don't like glasses. They're way down on my face.
Do you always use contacts then?
Don't wear anything.
What the fuck? Tim, are you blind?
I'm not blind. I'm only slightly. I went to an optician. They said I'm fine.
Okay, right, well, an optician said it.
I don't really know if I reinvented myself. I think I just didn't. If I went upgraded to college, didn't have to wear a school uniform anymore, and I didn't really come up my shell at all. I just kind of carried on being me.
I think I went into college thinking it was going to feel like a lot more grown up than it was. Because when I got there, it felt a bit older, but it still really felt like another area of school. And it didn't take long for me to realise I didn't really want to. Education was not the road I wanted to go down. So I think I stayed relatively the same, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
I think I just got more confident because I've actually, it's weird because I wrote a script about this. It's related, not all about this, but it's kind of related. Because at school, you couldn't really talk about games and stuff, nerdy stuff at school, because you just get demonized and bullied or whatnot. So I kind of kept it all to myself. Whereas at college, suddenly everyone did. Suddenly it was oh, you can just be yourself, sort of thing. So I don't think I changed really. I just sort of was more confident and I guess more expressive. As opposed to shying away from stuff.
I had someone in my class who was a lot older than the rest of us because we'd all just come out of school, and there was someone there who was around 26 when I was around 16 and 17 at the time. And he started giving us a load of shit really, because obviously we're all quite a bit younger than him, so we don't know the ways of the world and that and what have you. So it was weird really, because college sort of made me less confident but more worldly wise, I guess. In a way, which was kind of weird.
I see that. I think, college in general is a good stepping stone for the future, but I don't know if I got too much out of it. Most of the people in my class were just coming from school anyway. Yeah. But, it brings us into our main topic of the video.
Games?
Which is about video games.
Yes!
If you dropped off already.
I thought this was the literature podcast.
I feel like it's, when you put a movie on and it's nothing like what the movie's advertised, and you're like, wait, is this the right movie? Then it's alright, Iron Man comes in, and you're like, okay, never mind.
Hold on, we're going to get to the good part of the movie now. And the question I pose to you all is, when should game franchises end? Because some of them just go on forever. You can't stop them. Pong, that lasted a long time. A main example, well, what I've got is I've been thinking about it a lot, and the two games, the main game that I've been thinking is Pokemon, because I think it's only with the most recent release have we seen the biggest changes, but year to year it seems like it's just the same thing. I mean, I don't know, because I'm not that big of a Nintendo fan. I know that Ben and Tim, you two are. Why, Joe as well, but I can't gauge the level of Nintendo
Ben's probably the biggest Pokemon guy here, I'd say.
But what do you think about the same game every year coming out from?
I don't mind Pokemon so much, because I think with some franchises, when they are annual, you just it feels less egregious than some franchises for some reason. It just becomes a part of life. You get a Call of Duty, you get a Pokemon, and they're probably not very good. It's just the way it goes.
This is the thing that I was the only Pokemon fan in my group of friends, really. Well, me and one other, but mainly me. And they always used to get like the FIFAs and Call of Duties every year. And I'd obviously take the mick out of them getting FIFA. And be like, why are you paying £50 for the exact same game as last year? And then they'd be like, it's the creases in the shirt! You can see the creases in the shirt! and then they'd say like a comment about, well, you've just got Pokemon again. It's the same thing. You just catch Pokemon and go on your adventure and what have you. And I was like, yeah, but there's a fundamental difference between exploring a new world, a completely designed new world with new Pokemon and new creatures to catch, and sometimes new mechanics, compared to like a sports game, which is the exact same game each year with roster updates. Like if you take FIFA 12 for example and compare it to like FIFA 20, yeah, there's going to be a bit of difference there. But if you compare FIFA 12 to like FIFA 15, the difference is going to be minimal. Whereas Pokemon, like each game has its own flair. Like you have the Kanto region or the Hoenn region. So I feel like it's almost like comparing apples and oranges. I think the point when an annualized series should stop being annualized is when that tight time frame is what is holding the series back, and that's what Pokemon's been for quite a few years now. So I don't think that Pokemon should stop, but I do think it needs to very much have like a few years off to sort of revamp itself or reinvent itself. If we're going back to the college metaphor.
Pokemon is a strange one because a lot of them, like FIFA, is basically for roster, but also technology upgrades. It will be on a new system. It will have an updated engine. Pokemon, they do try and do, like I said, they do try and make new maps and new Pokemon and all that. But they're almost trying to do that every year is almost worse because that means that everything that they are making new is rushed, just not that great.
The thing is, as well, is that I would say when Black and White came out, which was like 2011 or something, there was a major Pokemon game every year after that for like the next 5 years, I think. And at the time, you couldn't really tell there was a decrease in quality. It was only like, I would say, the later 3DS games that you realised, hang on a minute, something don't feel right here. And then when they went to the home console, when everyone thought, okay, this is going to be like a big jump, not just in terms of gameplay, but in terms of scope and everything. And then it was just literally the same game that it was the same. When I say the same game, I mean it was the same style of game that had been there since like 2013. So yeah, there wasn't any reinvention there, and you're paying more for essentially the same style of game, which I think sucks.
Yeah, but what about Tim, you mentioned Call of Duty. Joe, I know you've played a lot of Call of Duty because I have as well. What do you think about the yearly releases of that? Because when I played the new Modern Warfare, I don't know what it's called, a reboot of Modern Warfare. I thought that was great. I thought that was a better sequel to Modern Warfare 2 than I thought Modern Warfare 3 was. But it was because it was such a big gap of time. I don't really.
Do you mean Modern Warfare Remastered or the one they've put in the new free-to-play game?
Yes. Sorry, the not Modern Warfare Remastered, Modern Warfare Reboot, I'm going to call it, 2019 game.
The new one.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was a substantial change from Modern Warfare 3, which was the last Modern Warfare.
I think with that, like, because they had a hot streak on COD for a while, because, like, they had Treyarch spending 2 years on a game, and then Infinity Ward spending 2 years on a game, and then each game came out each year, but both game had, like, quite a bit of development time on it. So there was that brief, like, 4-year period, I want to say, where it went from Call of Duty 4, which was great, obviously, everyone loved that game. Then you had World at War, which took it back to World War II, really good game as well. It was kind of its own thing, so it was a bit more gory, a bit more gritty. Then Modern Warfare 2 was obviously, like, ramped it all up to 11, and I think that's, you know, again, one of the fan favourites there. And then after that was Black Ops. And so all 4 of those games are, like, probably the 4 best CODs in the franchise. I think the fan favourites definitely.
Yeah.
I know there's a bit. I won't get into all the drama of the like Infinity Ward leaving and all this shit, and it all started to go a bit downhill. But like, I think COD's a good example because like you can just sort of do whatever you want really, because like you're not tied to like a story or a franchise really. You could just come out and be like, this is Call of Duty Warfare montage or something, some stupid name, and then it's about a new character going to, some country to do something. You can just do what you want. I'm not huge on the remakes because it's like, I don't know, like Modern Warfare is a cool game, and like seeing it brought back, and it's now it's got this and now it's got that. It's a bit like, I haven't played too much of the 2019 games, but like, I think COD's one of those things. People always think COD's going to die, but at the end of the day, as long as they're just keeping things fresh because they have the ability to do so, unlike something like Halo, where they have to, you kind of have to follow Master Chief's story or like something.
That's what I was going to say.
Related.
Not to jump ahead.
Well, it's kind of like Final Fantasy or Pokemon, like you were talking about,
Thing is, with Call of Duty, they really banked on the Freedom Hard when they just went, it's just sci-fi now.
That's true, yeah. I doubt that's kind of shit as well.
I think that's kind of what I was going to say about if you are originally tying your series to a story, and I kind of think of Assassin's Creed in that era. We had the I didn't play the games, but I know it was about one guy, and like he went back into this machine to live the lives of his ancestors or something. And there was obviously that Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3. The problem with Assassin's Creed now is they didn't just take the gameplay and then like make a new series from that, where they could not tie it to one particular story. They just carried on the name and put it on everything. And that's when I think the series gets really tired, because I don't think... It's just weird how you can put Assassin's Creed to any certain scenario when it originally started out as like a trilogy, trying to tell a story. And I think
pile stuff on top of like Desmond's, like the original guy's story, up until the point where you don't understand what's going on, and then they get rid of him and then just start anew, which you still have to know the previous story for when you go into the new games, even though that Desmond's not in it anymore. That
reminds me a bit of Kingdom Hearts is a weird one because I don't think that's a series that like I guess should end, but like they could. Like I do think it being one big story does hold it back quite a bit.
Definitely, yeah.
Because that's when it gets really convoluted.
It tries to add more things, and then when you get to number 3, like each game had its own gimmick, and then in number 3 they just added all of those together and made a mess. I know people like the game, but I thought it was a bit of a mess. But I mean, if you look at other forms of media, movies. There's normally an ending. There's normally you make a trilogy and you're done. Maybe you'd make a spin-off. But with games, it seems like a bit of a different.
I will say, if you're Star Wars, you never end. There will always be more Star Wars.
Thing is, I disagree with what you said. I think movies have now gone that way, where they just don't end. It's all just big franchises now, just
big universes.
Yeah, just iterated on over and over with no tangible ending. Like Endgame is supposed to be the big ending to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it can't be because they want to keep it going and have new movies. It's pretty similar to games. I think there are game franchises that try and put a definitive end on one. The one that comes to mind is it wasn't done well, but with Mass Effect and Mass Effect 3, you can tell it wanted that to be the end.
Yeah.
And then they decided that they weren't going to do that and just make a shit game.
The problem is that companies get tempted by the fact that they have a bankable name, so they can just use that, and that most of the time spells trouble, I think. Unless you've got like a series like Mario, I guess, or Zelda, because I feel like those. Well, Zelda less so, but Zelda's story is like the same thing every time, so it doesn't matter too much. But with Mario, you can put him in literally everything, and they can always put a wacky Mario spin on the game for it. So I've never really thought of Mario as a series that should end, for example. Even though But mind you, Mario comes out less frequently than like Assassin's Creed, which is every year. Whereas like a mainline Mario game comes out maybe every like 4 or 5 years. So you just don't feel like it's as tired, I guess.
Yeah. But with like story-driven games, if you were to compare like a one-off movie, let's say film Prisoners, that was just like a little mystery sort of film. But that I think that sold sold. It was good at the box office. If that was a game, let's say, I feel like the developers are more inclined to make a sequel than the movie, the director and the writer and stuff like that.
That's
true. Sequel to a movie. But I think that probably hits on the technology side, because if you can improve the technology and you've built a certain world with a certain technology, then you can always improve. And then the story comes like as a second thought, maybe as we could do a story. We want to make a sequel.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing in games culture these days, is that it's always, imagine this, but with today's graphics or something like that. So you either get the sequel of the world, or you get a reboot, which obviously we've seen a lot of in the past few years.
The one that comes to mind for me is that I think Death Stranding ends on a definitive note. I don't think they're gonna Kojima's gonna ever try and make a sequel to that. But maybe that's because yeah, maybe that's because he's so inspired by cinema. Though maybe he took something from that and decided to make a game that actually has a start and an end and doesn't mess with it.
I will say a series that I always seem to talk about because I love it, but it's one that I do worry about in terms of, because I know if this series goes the way I want it to, it shouldn't last forever, and that is Xenoblade. When they made 1 and 2, those games have a story, and they're not like a sequel to each other, but they are connected in some way. And I'm excited to see where it goes in the future, but that's one of those games where I feel like I would hate for that series to go on and on and on and never sort of conclude the story, because it's a really cool story, but I couldn't do the whole Kingdom Hearts thing with like 50 games to try and understand every bit of it. And that's one of the reasons why I think Xenoblade X is a bit strange, because that's very, very, very much separate. I think that's very much its own thing. And I don't think it ties into the other games at all. So it's kind of strange that they used the Xenoblade name for it. And that's one of the things I worry about, because I feel like, okay, they could just make a load of Xenoblade games, but not have it have anything to do with the original story. I don't want it to Assassin's Creed itself.
Yeah.
But what if it was to Final Fantasy itself?
Yeah. I don't know.
A new a new game based on the concepts of the previous games. Like, not to do with the story, go to different worlds, and it could be similar in tone, but not the same story or world.
That would be fine if the original games weren't connected in any way, but they definitely are. So if they wanted to set that precedent, they should have done it straight away, instead of trying to connect the games at first, and then like later on just doing their own thing. That's what bothers me about it. Like, I'd rather them, if they're going to connect the story, make 2 or 3 games, end it there, and then do a new series. But if they're going to Final Fantasy it, as long as they do it from the get-go, then you understand what you're getting yourself into. That's fine. But that's obviously the bit more. You got to play the risk then, because then it's like, okay, we want to tell this really cool story across multiple games, but then that's done, so we can't bank any more money off it. Or we can Final Fantasy it and make games for years to come and get loads of money off it.
You know, have you heard of the film that's going to come out soon, Dune?
Oh yeah,
I've heard of it.
Based on a book series, but the creator of Dune, the book, made the Dune, and it sold very well, and people love it. And then the publishers tried to make him make another one, but he didn't want to, and so they pushed and pushed, and then he was like, "Fine, I'll do another one," and said it like 2,000 years after. But then it was still called the sequel, and I don't think any of the characters are the same. But what do you feel about that towards games? I mean, you see, games come out, and they like, I know the ones that
is
are
it like shared
the AAA ones that are. Well, the AAA ones that just have this like a repeating story or continue off from another one, would it be better for them just to, stay in the same world? I'm thinking more like World of Warcraft, right? World of Warcraft is like, it's so dense, and there's so many different stories, and they keep on adding to it, and it's not going to get, I mean, it may get old in the future, but it doesn't seem like it's getting old anytime fast. And so they make all these different areas that you can go to, and you don't have to focus on one single storyline. So if they said for an Assassin's Creed game, let's focus on someone else. Instead of an assassin, we could go someone else, and it could be a different organization. I don't know why I'm choosing Assassin's Creed, 'cause it's kind of boring, but let's get you playing as Zelda instead. Or let's, what's another game? What's a Xenoblade character you could play as instead? But you could still be in the same world.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, if there's more room, well, that's kind of what the definitive version of Xenoblade did last year when it came out with an epilogue story. That the original game, the base game, has such a great ending. It's you don't need any more to it. But they decided to focus around one of the party members who still had some story to tell, and I think they did it really well. But I agree with that. I think you can do that if it's done well, though. Like if it doesn't feel like a cash grab. I think the issue with that is obviously if it goes wrong, it's it's very obvious that it was a cash grab. So
yeah,
just got to be a bit careful with it, I think.
Joe, do you think that there should be an end goal to a game series? There should be an ending. Like, should Call of Duty, if it was not a question about money, let's pick any other game that's just gone on and on and on. Do you think that they should stop and rebrand or stop and make something new?
I think Halo should stop. I think it should have stopped.
That's a good one.
A long time ago.
Well, I was thinking about that today, and I was thinking about the Modern Warfare remake, the 2019 one, and how that is so. It seems like a love letter to the Modern Warfare fans, and I feel like it's probably got fans of the game making it. And I was thinking, I really hope that Halo has fans making the game, because it seems like the past two mainline Halo games were made corporately, like add the jetpacks, add the boosting, add the sprinting, blah 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 blah. And so they did that, and they made it look like Halo, and they put the voice actors in, and it kind of seemed like Halo, but it wasn't really like Bungie's vision of Halo. But I feel like if they get the fans that are now grown up and game developers to make the game, I feel like that would be so cool.
I think if you're looking at something like Halo 5, like the by-the-by gameplay of that is pretty solid. If you could jump on a multiplayer game of Halo 5 like Slayer, it's not too far off Halo 3, to be honest. The only thing it has extra is the ability to sprint and the ability to dash forward and backwards, or left or right. It's not too... that sounds egregious, but it's not really. It's not that crazy of a new concept or anything, and it doesn't really change the fundamental... It just adds another element, really. It's not like... I don't see it as a bad thing. The bad stuff comes in when you're looking at the microtransactions and the bigger game modes and stuff. So then I see it as like Halo 5 probably did have passionate people behind it who understood what Halo's supposed to feel like, what people want from Halo. But then also like there's, like you say, the corporate side of it, which is like, we need to make money, this is our big franchise, it needs to have loot boxes, because that's the...
It needs a battle royale.
Yeah, exactly, that shit like that. It's they don't really understand it, and there's probably... Because it's Microsoft, before they just... Like, the relationship with Bungie was more like, okay, we're going to support you, and you make your games exclusive to us. So then Halo 3 ended up with loads of special perks just for Halo 3. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm going to get this kind of wrong, but on Halo 3, there was a thing on the 360 that allowed just Halo 3 to basically patch all of the playlists and stuff, like, without needing to download a big update. On every, like, 360 console sort of thing. So, like, they back-ended a bit of the Xbox just so Halo 3 could have this extra feature sort of thing, so be extra special.
That's mental.
Also had the file share system that you could get to by the, and the menu button. But also, apparently Bungie helped make the interface for XBLA.
Yeah.
For Xbox 360. And so that's why the community system's very well integrated in 360, where it isn't that much in Xbox One, or it wasn't that much. I feel like it's better now.
Well, the thing is now, it's like, what I was going to say was like, it's not Bungie being like, okay, you've given us all these tools, we're going to make a lot of money by just making a really solid game, like the game to have on 360 sort of thing. There's a good partnership that worked out. Now it's more like people are going to buy Halo because it's Halo. People like Halo. So we can cut some corners. We can add in loot boxes. That's the impression I got from Halo. Because there's shit like you can buy. I remember buying one because I bought the Team Liquid skins because they were on sale, and I thought Team Liquid was funny because Liquid Chillin' Dude has the song about him. You know what I'm about? It was a weird thought process. But then, so there's all this like esports shit in it, and like it's like okay, this feels like something that's not Halo. But
That's exactly how I feel about that kind of stuff. Like so when esports stuff comes into it, it feels a bit more live servicey.
Yeah,
yeah. That's what I felt about Halo 5 is that of all the like you can monetize it. All games are fucking monetized now, but it just felt so like
Shameless.
Misguided. Is what I mean. It's like. Esports, we're gonna make it look all gritty. We're gonna put in all this stupid shit. They don't understand that people just want to play Halo I mean, they removed split screen. They don't know what people want.
Yeah,
it's so weird that Microsoft made the what's the Gears of War developer now, Cohesion or something like that. Not Epic Games. The people who made.
Isn't it just Microsoft Game Studios or something?
No, it's called like I don't know, something.
Coalition. Coalition.
Yeah, Coalition. That's right. They made this studio to make Gears of War games, and what they've done is just made another Gears of War game that they haven't changed very much. They've added a couple of new things, but with Halo, they've rerouted it, which is really strange to see.
It's weird because it feels like when that happens, when they're like, okay, we're going to make a studio specifically for Gears of War games. It feels like they're almost saying, right, you can only make Gears of War games, so like the creativity is so limited because they're in this studio to make this one game. So any ideas they come up with for like anything that could actually be decent, they have to rework so it could fit into a Gears of War game, and it's just I feel like it's really stifling. And that's when you come out with, and that's one of the things I was going to say earlier actually, is with games like Gears of War and Call of Duty in the past 10 years. You'll see features like split screen leave, and then like loot boxes get added, and I think didn't even the campaigns start getting shorter and shorter. Then eventually they just weren't in the game at all, and it's just really strange because it feels like what used to be complete games now are like little pieces of the game being released, and I feel that's when you can tell that they are literally only using the name of the series. They're not trying to make a game for that series in mind, if you get me.
That's an interesting thing you're saying, because they're not just releasing new games like with barely anything added, just like constantly. They don't have to be annual. They could just be regular, just loads of releases, and they don't even finish the game. Yeah. They'll release it totally unfinished.
Yeah.
Like Ubisoft does that. They do it all the time. Yeah. And they'll just be like, "Oh, we'll patch it later."
Get their monies now.
Yeah.
It's because the live service market is crazy at the moment, and I know that they're trying to make Halo into a live service game. They want to make the money, but it would be great if they could do stuff like ODST, small little game. I know it got a bigger budget, but it was storytelling. It was a fun little action game. They took a lot of the elements from the previous game, and they give it some good music, and you play it, have a fun old time. Why don't they make live service games and then just have other teams of like writers make a good little story, use the elements of the live service game, and just shove that in the game every so often, instead of making like a quest, instead of like this monthly quest, go kill loads of grunts or go talk to this NPC.
That's the strange thing is because they'll make a live service game, say we'll support this for years and years to come. But then they won't support it. They won't release new content. They'll release tidbits. That's what they're doing with Overwatch. They were like, "Oh, well, it's a live service game that we'll keep supporting. We got a sequel coming, but while that's happening, and it probably won't release for another year, there's nothing. They don't do anything with the game. They don't release new content anymore. They barely do anything.
Rich with lore, it doesn't fit a live service game. It fits like more of an MMO. If they want to go something like loads of players playing it, you need something story based. Because there isn't there's lots of Halo novels, and they do go into detail about the story in the story. It's more about the world building. But like based on the fact that they made an entire game without the main character, and it was one of the best games they made.
Do you think that
the
reason why more companies are trying to turn these games into live services, especially with Halo, which has had a bit of a rough quite a few years now, but do you think they're doing it so that the name will always be relevant? Because if you look at a game like League of Legends, which came out in 2009, that game's still super relevant, and it's only like in the series, I believe it's only had like one game. It's just that one game, but
yeah, but that game's making money. I think that I get what you mean. Like Ratchet and Clank coming out, I know that the new Ratchet and Clank was good, but it's
relevant. It's easier to be relevant when you're a continuous live service and you're just adding little bits of content each time, rather than doing one game, letting that rest for 3 years, then the name dies out a bit, and then you release the next one. If you have a live service, I don't feel like you ever have that down period.
That's what it is. And it's all chasing after. I mean, people probably think like Fortnite, something like that, but no, it's not. It's GTA 5.
GTA 5, oh my god, yes!
It's the forever relevant game, still a bestseller, 6 years after its release?
I looked at the UK charts not long ago, and it was still in the top 3. After it's 8th year out, I believe, this year, which is crazy.
It's just...
I don't know what the numbers are compared to Red Dead, but that didn't do as well.
I don't even think Rockstar can chase their own profits. That's what.
No, well they could if they made another GTA and it was it's just an upgrade.
Oh, but no, the development cost of that though, and if it's worse, then they have to deal with a scandal. If they just keep it safe and make money off of GTA 5 forever, there's no risk.
I think that game is like one of the big reasons why they made 2 games this like last decade.
Yeah.
Which that's kind of crazy.
But also, have you seen Red Dead? That game, you could definitely tell a lot of polish when it.
A lot of polish and money.
I think they knew Red Dead
a long time
at its core was gonna be the single player content first. I know they tried to do some multiplayer stuff with it, but like. It definitely felt a bit more half-hearted than, the full-blown guns blazing GTA 5. And you're right in a sense, if a GTA 6 came out, it would be like such a graphical overhaul from 5. Because 5 is it's not looking dated, but it's definitely not looking shiny new anymore. But like it does. I mean, I was playing that game was on Game Pass for a bit. And I remember playing it quite a little bit because it's a cool secret for you guys to get the radio in GTA 5 is like. Absolutely astonishing. It's ridiculous, but whatever. Yeah. But like I remember playing online on that game, and then it's like, oh, go to the casino. Oh yeah, check out the casino, and then it's like, you can get a car, get this cool car. It's like, oh, what's this then? And it's like, oh, this car costs like £100 of real life money, and you're like, oh, that's too much then, whatever. But then also like you keep seeing it's not like an advert's popped up. It's just like a thing that happens in the game. You gotta think if you're a little bit younger. And like you're constantly seeing like people flying around in flying cars and going super fast.
Very impressionable.
Yeah, you can see the game's very smart about it. You can see how like young minds can be like, oh man, if only I was faster. How do I get a faster car? I can grind in the game, and that takes too long. Yeah,
the gameplay loop is really good as well. And then adding the what's it called, heists. Is that
And there's a lot of free shit to do as well. Like.
Fun.
So that just keeps people playing, even if they're not sinking money into it. So eventually they will. You got to think like kids who were like 15, 14 playing it in 2013, whenever it came out. They're going to be what, like? It's 2021 now, so what? They're 8 years older. So in their 20s now, probably got like like decent job. Yeah,
and there's nostalgia for it now. Like if you played,
I can sink in like £300 and finally get all that cool stuff I saw as a kid.
That's a strange thing, because I think that's something that I don't think we will ever experience in that way, because obviously when we were still like teenagers and a bit younger, games were still being made a bit more traditionally. Whereas obviously in the past like few years, I'd say that since maybe 2013, 2012, more live service games have become like that. I don't see how you could be nostalgic for a game that you continuously played for like the same game as well for like the past 7 years.
I think I have experienced it with Minecraft because I played it when I was 13 and now I'm 23. So
yes, it's been 10 years.
That's a long time to be playing.
Do you get nostalgic for Minecraft though?
Yeah, for the old. When I see old screenshots, I do. Yeah,
I do. And when the music kicks in, that old chiptune music.
But I don't get nostalgic when I see like. I mean, it sounds obvious, but I don't get nostalgic when I see new stuff that's been added to Minecraft. I mean, I enjoy the game still, and it's like that's neat, but it's not.
I get nostalgic for like content created around Minecraft. Like, I don't know if you guys ever watched the Yogscast Shadow of Israfel videos. I get nostalgic for those, but not so much for the game itself, I guess. But I was never like hugely into Minecraft. That might be why.
Yeah, I think that you could be nostalgic for GTA because it's like the world as well. Like, imagine like you have to go do something in a certain part of the world and you remember it and you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool when I did that there.
I think the base game maybe, but GTA Online's the thing that's made it have such longevity, right? So, yeah, so I don't know if I could see myself getting nostalgic for that, but I haven't played the game. I can't really say.
I think one of the cool things in that game is when the game first came out, there's a couple of buildings that were like under construction, like they look like kind of construction sites and shit like that, or like empty buildings. And then you look at it now, and those buildings are finished, sort of thing.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, like
that's cool.
Because the casino that got added, that was like I don't know, some other bullshit before it was a casino. So like
cool.
Like I could see like if you go back to it, it's like, oh look, this is now this.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, the world's progressed.
It's building up on top of the other content, which is good.
You know what? I don't want to bring it back to Halo, but you're talking about adding shit to old games. Obviously, Halo 3 is a game that's near and dear to my heart, probably more than any other game, probably on the planet. And they've recently added new content to Halo 3 this very, very day. This is new.
I think.
Okay, yeah, no
Sorry
drama.
to call you out.
No, you know what I mean? No, it doesn't really matter. Well, the thing is, it doesn't matter what day it was, because 343 in all their wisdom have decided to add the worst helmets I've ever seen in my life to Halo for no reason. It doesn't affect the gameplay at all. They'll just like, here's this thing that's worse. And you're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, do I have to see this? And they're like, no, you can turn it off if you want.
Wait,
or do you?
Can you? Well, I thought it was just selected armor. So if people select it, then isn't that appearing? Or...
I think maybe they didn't, and they haven't added this. But I thought you could like toggle something.
I thought you could
make that not happen. Maybe that isn't a thing. I don't know because I'm too scared to look into it.
But the helmets are from I think a Russian free-to-play game.
Yeah.
But they're all low quality textures. Like,
they're designed by they look like a completely different dev team behind them. Don't even remotely fit into what. And not only because obviously even if you got the Halo 3 guys back in and make some new helmets and they made some fucking stupid shit or whatever, you're still going to be a bit like, but that's not Halo. That's not the Halo 3 I remember, sort of thing.
And
I
think it's pushing the edge, right? Because it is official Halo content that was from a different game, and so they want you to be able to have all the content that was in this original game, or the Halo 3. What's it called?
Halo Online
bullshit.
Yeah, Halo Online.
But if you could, what about the Halo Reach helmet they added? That was a beta helmet that they never put in the game. Is that good to have?
Fine. But, if you just say, "Hey, here's the beta helmets," that's one thing.
I think it crosses the line when you start adding new, just made helmets. Like, isn't there one with a face drawn on it or something?
That's for Reach. Yeah, I was on the Master Chief Collection before. I was looking through them. It's pretty bad.
The annoying thing about that guy, the face they've put on him, is the guy that described what Rec Packs was in Halo 5, which is the microtransactions.
That little character.
And I fucking hate him because he just talks about how you should spend money and how you're doing it wrong. And it's just stupid. I think he's like a Halo comic character or something like that.
Yeah, but you don't want to remind people of one of the worst things that's happened to Halo.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that it's funny how we started off with the question of when should a game series end, and now it's just when should a game end?
That's a very good point. Yeah,
Halo should have stopped at Reach, and I don't know what they should have done afterwards. they should have just been like, Bungie's doing something else. You know what? Maybe they should have focused on Destiny. Microsoft should have tried to fight for it more, saying, I don't fucking know.
I think they should have left Chief alone. Leave Chief alone, make a couple games, hone your craft about making Halo games, and then go back to Chief.
That's true.
But yeah, okay. But what about Resident Evil? New game's coming out at some point this year. Resident Evil, what's it called?
8.
It's 8?
Village.
It's called Village, yeah, that's right. It's 25th anniversary, and in their Nintendo Direct or Resident Evil Direct or whatever they did, they said, "Oh, we've got a good celebration for you for our celebratory 25th anniversary. We've made a multiplayer mode."
Oh
What?
no!
Yeah.
But Resident Evil is a single player game. We've made a multiplayer mode that just ports all of the characters from Resident Evil 4, well, not all of them, but areas from Resident Evil, not 4, sorry, 7, 2 remake, 3 remake, and I assume 8. And they just put them in the same sort of areas. They've shrunk the characters down so that it fits
I saw
multiplayer.
that.
And then it just, the gameplay trailer was people trying to aim at things and missing. Like, is that a 25th anniversary sort of special event?
The funny thing about that is, didn't they try to make a multiplayer mode before?
Yeah, they've done that before, yeah.
They've done it about 8 times at this point.
Yeah.
There's millions of them. It's never ending.
And they never live more than a month.
Yeah, the last one me and my friend, our friend Denzel, played for a very short amount of time. It was very close to it's similar to Dead by Daylight, and it was almost good. But the fact that they were just porting characters from previous games and then just pasting them in there, like they just put a zombie down that was from like the main game, like Resident Evil 3 remake, but they didn't change it at all to fit the multiplayer setting. So it's just, if they changed it, then it would make sense because maybe they're easier to kill and stuff like that. But they were just shoving everything into one thing and thinking it would work. And
I don't get Capcom. Because it's like there's someone there who's like, oh, we need to stop making terrible decisions and release high quality AAA games, and then they release it. Resident Evil 7 and 8, the remakes, Monster Hunter World, things like that. And then
DMC.
Yeah.
I think that they got stuck with Resident Evil because they thought the Resident Evil 6 would have been, sold so well, but it only just made the bank, I think.
No,
then,
I think 6 sold the best. No, second best compared to 5.
But compared to the budget, I thought that it only just made the budget back.
Yeah,
I don't know,
it's one of
as well.
Resident Evil 6 is one of the biggest budgeted games ever, but it is also one of the most selling.
And they try to differentiate from Resident Evil is now action, and the spin-offs are now horror. But then they didn't know what to do, and they made Resident Evil, 7, and they realized, oh, do people actually like horror games? I didn't realize that. And now they're making horror games again, which is really weird.
Resident Evil went to college and reinvented itself, and it's done it a couple of times now. It did it with 3 after 3 when it went to 4, and after 6 when it went to 7. It was a really brave move to say, well, it's a first person proper horror game now. I think it's commendable. Yeah.
No, I think it was. I thought that 7. I played through 7. It was great. There's a point at the end that is just terrible, but it's like it's like a corridor sort of bit, and it goes on forever. I don't know why they added it to the game, but the main game is fantastic. What are you guys' knowledge on Resident Evil?
I'm a big baby and I can't play horror games, but I know about it from just people talking about it.
Oh, really? Well,
I'm not too well versed in it, but I've played a fair bit of 7. But I've only really I've watched people play it more than I've played it myself.
Yeah. Well, I've got a little game to play.
Oh boy!
The game I named it. Name what Resident Evil game is this? Wikipedia in brackets. So I'm gonna. This is just for the cast. I'm gonna share my screen, but don't worry, you don't need to see that at home. And so what I have here is.
Wait, I'm joining.
Does everyone see? I have in front of me a dice, a 26-sided dice. Each number on that dice represents a year starting from 1996, when the first Resident Evil game came out. Now, I will roll the dice for one person, and they have to guess. Well, that dice number represents a year, and they have to guess the game that came out that year in Resident Evil.
Okay.
If you get it wrong, you will get a chance to get your point, because it's point based, of course.
Wait, what if it lands on 26?
I'll tell you what year that is. And so, if you get it wrong, you will get a chance to get your point back if you can guess the exact genre title that is on Wikipedia. Not genre. So like, e.g., survival horror, blah 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 blah.
Okay.
So you have to guess the exact genre. So we get 3 goes each. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, and to note, some years no Resident Evil game came out, but it's
okay. Oh boy.
Number.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna roll. I'm
gonna embarrass myself.
And you've got the number 4. That's 1999. What?
That's 99. Okay.
Yeah, came out in 1999. The first one came out in 1996.
Was it Code Veronica?
No, it was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
Oh, I was gonna get that.
What genre is that?
Is it still me?
Yes, it's still you.
Okay, it's I'm gonna say survival horrors.
Well done. You get a point.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim, I'm gonna ask you next.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll a little number for you. Here we go. Number 5. That's 2000. The year 2000. What songs came out in 2000, Joe? Any good songs? You on the music?
Millennium by Robbie Williams.
I was literally about to say Robbie Williams.
Yeah, just that. That's the only song that came out.
Here's a little hint for you, Tim. Yeah. Some years, more than one Resident Evil game came out. That's just a little hint for you. Just a little hint. But any games come to your head?
I would go for what is it better? Say Code Veronica.
Oh, well done. You're
a little bastard.
1 point.
I thought I was so smart.
No extra points for this, but what genre do you think it is?
That's still survival horror, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. So, Joe, my big man, I'm going to give you number 19. Oh, that's scrolling down. All right, what do you think came out in 2014? Getting close to today. Tricky one.
2014.
2014.
Was Resident Evil dead then?
It may have been.
I think Resident Evil 7 might have been 2013. So I don't think it's that. Something just happened.
That's
okay,
right.
Craig has crashed, don't worry, that's fine.
Craig's got that.
So we've got the sync bit.
What else
God,
happened in 2014.
I'm trying to think. We're doing first year of college with me and Tim, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, did Resident Evil Revelations come out on 3DS?
Unfortunately not, Joe. No Resident Evil game came out that year.
Oh, fuck.
But,
what year did... I guess so.
Sorry,
go on. No, go on.
I can't tell you. I'm sorry. I can't even guess the genre because there is no genre for no game.
I was going to say...
I knew it was dead.
Was I right about Resident Evil 7? But I didn't want to cheat in case that's someone else's number.
I'm going to say no on that one. You didn't get that right. But
fuck.
Here we go. Back to Big Boy Ben. 18. Yeah. That's 2013. Oh, that's 1 year before Joe's question, whatever that's called. Lots of things happened in 2013, I'm sure. I don't remember anything.
It couldn't be dead again, could it? I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah, you're gonna say it. 6.
6.
I'm sorry, you're wrong. There's no Resident Evil game.
Oh no!
I knew it.
I'm gonna say Resident Evil 6. I know I got it wrong.
There's a still note, Joe.
Yeah, I know it's still wrong, but 7 came out way later. Sorry, I got mixed up. 6 is the one with the giraffe cover.
Yes, that's right. The one with Lisa. No, wait, that's Lisa Simpson's the Olympics. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tim, you've got number 7, which is 2002. 2002. I'm sure. I think the iPod Mini came out that year. Maybe. That was a cool little device. I think it had a backlit screen.
Oh, was 2002 Resident Evil 4?
Oh no, I'm sorry. It was. There was actually more than one, but I'll give you one.
Was Tim even alive in 2002?
I don't remember.
I was a little 5-year-old boy.
Resident Evil 0 came out in 2002. Can you guess the genre?
Son of War.
Yeah, this is that to be a lot easier. But we proceed. Ben next, right?
No, it's Joseph.
Is
Joseph
Joe?
next.
Yes,
Sorry,
it's me.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that round went so quickly. All right, 18. That represents a number that is 2013. Did we just have?
We've done this.
2013?
We did.
All right,
Yeah.
Roll again. Here we go. Number 3. Did we already had number 3? Let's go again.
19. We already had it.
19. 17. Okay, that's 2012. 2012. Yeah, that was a scary year. We almost died. What do you think happened then?
In 2012, I think.
Do you want me to give you a little hint? You were really.
You didn't give me a hint.
Well, okay, I'm not gonna give you a hint, but there's a game that's been said a lot that hasn't been given a year.
It's one of the 3DS ones, isn't it?
Why?
Don't give him a clue. Don't give him a clue.
I don't know. There's two I want to say, but I don't know which one. Was it Revelations?
Revelations is correct. You could have got Resident Evil 6.
Oh,
well.
okay.
Okay, so now last round with Benjamin. Number 1. I wonder what that one is. That's 1996.
Is that Resident Evil 1?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Tim.
Wait! You didn't ask me what genre it was.
No, but that you don't need to have that one because that doesn't.
That's a chance to win back your point.
Sorry, I'm getting into it. Sorry.
Have you not played this game before?
Sorry.
Tim, this could be the thing that makes you win the game. All right. We've already had 16, haven't we? No, we haven't. Okay,
No.
16 is
2011.
2011. Any idea? 2011.
I'm stealing.
I know.
I'm stealing Joe's guess. Oh wait, no, I can't. He was right with Revelations.
It was, yeah.
That's right, Revelations. Yeah. And it's not. And I also said that Resident Evil 6 came out the same year as Revelations.
The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Let me just check my list. I don't believe that's on my list.
Oh no! No,
I think,
it
wait.
Mercenaries?
If Tim will get this right, can I guess? I think I know this one.
I know this one.
Resident Evil. Was it a 3D one? It's just called 3D.
That's not the name.
Resident Evil.
I know what it is.
Wait, no.
I said it first.
No, hold on. Wait, Tim, have you got any other guesses?
Resident Evil Mercenaries.
Oh, I'm going to give you that point. Is that what you two thought?
Yeah, that's what I said. I said it earlier when you said Skyrim.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was as well.
Yes, it's Resident Evil Mercenaries 3D. Can you? This is. Just
I had that one.
Can you guess the genre? I know this. You don't need this for the point, but.
That one wasn't horror at all. It was like an arcade racking up points. I'm going to say action third-person shooter.
Yeah, third-person shooter survival horror. There's only well, let's just finish off with Joe. I know that Tim, you've won, but let's see if you can tie. 13 is 2008. Anything?
Resident Evil 5.
No, there's nothing out in 2008. I'm sorry, but
mate, I got 2 chances to win no points because I got the true questions.
No, but if you say no Resident Evil game came out, you could get a point.
Yeah, I guess I could have.
Here's a bonus point for everyone if you guess this. How many Resident Evil games are there? So each of you can guess. I actually have to go count now. So talk amongst yourselves.
What do we all think it is, boys?
I think it's above 20.
You think it's above? No. Have you seen how many years we got there where it was like, no, there's no Resident Evil this year?
They do release a lot.
I'm thinking of like the main ones because what? Wait, are we counting 8? Or are we only counting up to 7?
Whatever is on Wikipedia.
They'll count 8 then. Yeah, they'll count 8.
Well, just to let you know, you got real bad luck with these non-years because there's only 6 years that they don't have games out of the 26 that we had.
We also double rolled years multiple times.
Oh no, I think you will. I think you will be right. I think it's probably over 20. I don't know actually.
I think it's 16.
I'm gonna say 18.
I'm gonna say 20.
None of you get a point. It's 26. It's the same number as the dice.
I was closest. I
was going to say 26
Tim,
until I thought, wait, there were so many blank years.
Well done, Tim. You win.
I was like being like scared off by like them being like, oh no, I don't think it's above 20. I was like, oh, I should be conservative with my 20 guess. I should have gone higher.
Yeah,
this is like those, you know, when there's like a jar of sweets, and they say, if you can guess how many are in it, I'll give you £1,000. And I said, I think there's 42, and like, Ben, there's 380. Oh shit!
Yeah, that didn't turn out how I thought it would, because there's a lot of different genres. There is a lot of survival horror, but then there's like Resident Evil 4 is survival horror third-person shooter, but then other games that are like Resident Evil 2 remake is just survival horror game, which I don't understand. But there's also light shooters and action adventures games and stuff like that. But,
I forgot about the remakes, if I'm honest. And there was a second Revelations game, wasn't there?
Yes, which is episodic. And that's what and that one's called episodic survival horror. That was the genre. Weird. Alright, well, Tim, well done. Okay.
I win Resident Evil.
Well done, Tom.
I'm going to buy you the next Resident Evil. The pachinko game.
Oh, but goody.
Pachinko. It's not Konami.
I was going to say, is it Konami?
I'm sure there's a Resident Evil pachinko game.
Yeah, probably. I'll play the Silent Hill one.
Well, I think that could wrap it up for today. Any closing thoughts?
Sequels can be good, but also bad.
Really?
And that's a motto we can all live by.
We didn't even talk about Metal Gear that much. I wanted to talk about Metal Gear.